Hey, man, I have written people off myself in the past, man. Just to change gears on you, I have written off a guy by the name of Terrence Howard because he said 1 times 1 is 2. You know what I'm saying? So who am I?
I mean, who would not write him off? I'm pretty sure. What's old boy's name? Neil deGrasse Tyson, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Sure he wrote him off.
He wrote him off too.
He wrote him off too.
He said, "You need to go to somebody else for that bull. If I ain't about to deal with this, if you can't figure that out, I can't help you, brother. You need to go talk to somebody else." Fair enough. That was a proper response.
To me, it was because you sent me some paper for some critique, and you leave with that. I'm writing you off too. Like back to the drawing board, homie. It ain't working.
Yeah.
So check this out. So speaking of Terrence Howard, man. So I don't know. You've seen the whole Joe Rogan, or you heard of it, right? Yeah.
He's getting a lot of credit to be a genius after this Joe Rogan interview.
He is getting genius treatment. And I looked at the video, and I think it might be Joe Rogan's highest viewed podcast to this point.
Okay.
It's definitely the fastest because it had like 6.5 last night when I looked at it. And I'm going through Joe Rogan's podcast, and he had a couple that was like 1.5, 2 million, 3 million views, but nothing that was around 6.5. So if he had ones that hit anything close to 6.5, I'm pretty sure it didn't go that fast, right? It didn't climb that quick. So that kind of tells me that people are looking at they're looking at it like, yo, somebody, y'all got to look at this. Or I went through the comments. And it's like people are like looking at Terrence Howard like, yo, this dude's a genius. I'm glad he unlocked this and blah, blah, blah. Like, he let him cook. Man, he's going in. Like, I don't know about that. Right? Because we heard Terrence Howard speak before, and the whole 1 times 1 is 2 deal and his logic behind it. I wrote it off. So I'm seeing the interview pop up, and I'm writing it off. I'm not paying any attention. This is dumb. But then you know who Lou Young is, right? He does all the parodies of people and stuff like that. Right? So I'm seeing him do this parody, and I'm like, yo, he's just talking about all this stuff and making like no sense. And I'm like, I know that's exactly how, because he's accurate when he does this, right? Like super accurate when he does these parodies or these impressions. And I'm like, I know this exactly. It's exactly how I know he was probably talking like that. And it's like a bunch of nothing that just sounded like he was trying to say something. But I like to think that I'm a pretty intelligent person. I'm not the smartest man in the room. I'm not saying that, but I feel like I'm pretty educated, and I can pick nuggets from a conversation that might even be above my head. Yeah. But I'm like, yo, this man just talked for 30 minutes, and I literally sat there and watched it for a good 30 minutes. I'm like, what did you say? Like, am I that far like away from intelligence that I'm not picking up anything that you're saying? Like nothing like stuck as far as making sense.
Yeah. Hey man, I think that I don't know, man. I feel like Terrence. I saw somewhere where he had a patent, and he's claiming all of what we see in virtual reality now is based from his findings and his discoveries, which validates his intellect. And now he's like kind of on a mission to, I don't know, prove that he's smart after that whole 1 times 1 debacle. But I think that he was onto something with that.
Mm-hmm.
With the virtual reality, I think he was onto something with that. You know.
Yeah. He might be onto something. I ain't gonna completely write him off, but
I kind of have in a way, in most cases.
Like
at one time, it's hard to get over.
It's too hard to get over. Like, I don't understand. Like, how do you even come to that conclusion that 1 times 1 has to be more than 1? You're multiplying one thing one time.
Multiply.
If I multiply this cigar and I try to, like, if I want to have more than just one, like it's one set or a product of something.
Yeah.
By itself is that same product. That's it. You can't forget the word product in a times table. Yes, you're multiplying something, but then you're getting the product of it. I don't understand how this cannot, like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And then he's saying something about square roots, and the whole square root idea wasn't making any sense either. I don't know if you want to get into all of that, but the whole square root thing, it's like you're looking at square roots completely wrong. And I think he was looking at some, because what was he saying exactly? But it was like he was looking at it as the multiplication process, but it's actually the divisive process when you get a square root of something. I don't want to get into all of that, but it wasn't making any sense. It's like, dude, you're explaining square roots backwards.
He's trying to nitpick. He's trying to find points to nitpick to say where it's flawed at, but he's definitely approaching it wrong. The system's not flawed. It's correct, but you're trying to find something that's not there, and anybody can nitpick the semantics of stuff. You know what I mean? But like, it don't mean that it's right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's.
You can draw whatever kind of conclusion that you want. Yeah, and there is a such thing as overthinking, and I would like to see a lot of these geniuses respond to him. You know, because it seems like what I'm seeing in these conversations or in the comments are just, you know what I'm saying, regular people like myself, and I guess they're drinking the Kool-Aid, buying into what he's saying, and like, yeah, he's on to something. He's unlocking a whole other dimension, which he very well could be. I don't see it. But I want to see somebody who is, you know what I'm saying, these people who are producing these things, like in this virtual reality world, this whole meta thing, people who have conquered, not necessarily conquered space, but we haven't even conquered space. I don't want to know if I want to get into that conversation about the whole moon thing and this whole thing about space that's not seeming to be what it actually is. Actually have a conversation about it or comment on it or have some kind of dialogue behind it to like really break this down for me, to see if he is onto something or if he's completely off base, because to me, he's completely off base.
Is he trying to say he's coming up with like a new math system? Is that what he's trying to say?
Not even just a new math system, but it's just the process of the way we think about things and what we have been told systemically is incorrect. And the way we've been approaching math and science is completely incorrect.
I won't argue that, but you know what I mean?
You have to have better proof.
I think, yes, you have to have proof, first of all. The only reason I say I won't argue that is because we're constantly evolving the information we have anyway, as we get new technology and we improve upon figuring things out and how we judge stuff. We figure out, okay, that was wrong. Like, okay, we have in our mind that the moon is 220-some thousand miles from Earth. And maybe it is that, you know what I mean? But like, maybe they'll get some type of better technology and they'll say, oh, we was off a little bit. We was off by 10,000 miles. You know, now we find out it's this.
Even then, what does it truly even matter? Because, I mean, he went back and he corrected something. He said the Earth moves away from the sun. I think he initially stated 6 inches a year. Then he said, no, it's 0.6 inches a year. I'm like,
what difference is 6 inches and 0.6 in that?
What's it?
Objects that big in this infinite sky.
And if it's per year, that means if I live to be 100 years, and if it's 0.6, the Earth moves away from the sun in 6 inches, I don't think that really changes my life too much.
Yeah.
How many centuries or how many millenniums are going to be affected by that? It's
right.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe it might be an enormous effect, a catastrophic effect. I don't know what 0.6 inches does as the Earth moves away from its heat source, light source.
Yeah.
If I move something 0.6 inches from anything, like, it doesn't really make that much of a difference unless you're shooting a gun.
Yeah, that's true too. But you know what? Okay, in relative to that, yes, it's like, okay.
But you're talking about something that small. But we're talking about something as big as Earth and space.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of less than a piece of paper, probably. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like when you expound out that wide. But, you know, okay, I'm just saying, because for that reason, I think that he could be onto something with the idea that, yes, we're looking at things from the wrong point of view. Eventually, time will tell that we were looking at something from the wrong point of view. But that doesn't necessarily make what you're saying right either, is what I'm getting at. Like, just because we haven't figured out how to look at it. Ultimately, none of us know how none of this stuff works. It's all just a bunch of theories and stuff like that. Eventually, we're going to find out we were wrong about gravity somehow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll figure out, okay, we was this much off on this. This actually works this way. Like,
but look, is it close enough that we've been able to have technological advances? Yeah. Is it close enough that we're able to sustain our living for several centuries and, Yeah.
I think we're in the ballpark for everything.
We're in the ballpark.
We probably off. We probably off.
Enough.
But
close enough. Yeah. I'm good. I'm good here. I'm good.
Yeah, but ultimately, I wish some geniuses would waste their time responding to it, but they probably won't because they look at it like this ain't worth my time. So if he was on to something, they would all be coming out the woodworks right now. Put it that way. More than likely, if he's going viral like this, it's crossed some people's paths. Some physicians,
somebody hasn't crossed their path. Inadvertently, I'm pretty sure somebody has pushed it in front of them to say, "Hey, let's check this out." Who was the guy saying? What you think? I'm pretty sure that's happening in some circles.
Yeah, but
apparently I'm not as smart as I thought I was.